Hi, Anita. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, lady. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hey, Kinsey, thank you so much. I am feeling good.
Oh, yeah. Guys, we are going to have the bubbly energy in today's
Oh, yeah.
conversation. Anita and
It's
I
going
were
to be
already
a bubbly
chatting.
soda.
Yes, it's
No
gonna
flat
be
soda
great.
here.
No flat soda. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Okay, anyway, let's introduce you. So I did already just share a little bit about you in the intro, but I'd love to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Kinsey, by the way. Hi, everyone. My name is Anita. I am the founder of Wordfetti. What we do at Wordfetti is we teach brands that kind of want to zig when others zag, how they can stand out and make more sales through the power of psychology and words. So I'm deeply fascinated by why people buy, why people don't buy. So, a lot of what we teach and what we're all about is ingrained in psychology. So, yeah, now we teach businesses and copywriters and marketers, I guess, a lot of the methodology around psychology backed copy, empathy based, humanized language and copy, all of that. So, I think words at the end of the day, this is something I'm so passionate about, but it's like words are the central medium in which how you and I connect, communicate, and share ideas. It's like this free tool we all have that we all use every single day to connect and communicate. And I think it's so important that we're intentional with the language that we use every day, but also obviously in our marketing and in how we're selling. So, yeah, all things words.
And my audience knows too that I'm totally a word nerd. I think a lot of us are. So, guys, it's going to be getting nerdy up in here.
Yes.
I
Oh,
do
thank
like to
you.
kick off these conversations by just asking you about like your journey in entrepreneurship. How have you gotten to where you are today? What does that look like for you, lady?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you I woke up and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a copywriter." Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. It was not like that. It was a very non-linear journey to doing what I do. So I started Wordfetti 8 years ago, and it was actually a side hustle. It was my third side hustle, actually, and the previous two failed, in case you're wondering. And I was actually a lawyer. So I worked in corporate, I worked in government, and I was a lawyer. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them. They're like, "You do not have the personality of a lawyer." And I'm like, "I agree. Yes, I agree." So I worked in policy. I worked in a number of different departments, including domestic and family violence to strategic policy in government, which, look, it was very rewarding work. And I studied law and psychology in university. It took me 6.5 years for two very expensive pieces of paper. No idea where they are. But it was rewarding work, but it was missing the zing factor for me. So that was the biggest reason why I had these creative side hustles. Like, I did photography at one stage, which is crazy because I remember going to weddings and just taking photos during the weekend after my corporate job. I started a business with my mum at one stage. I had three other side hustles, but the other one I'm still kind of doing. I used to food blog and vlog quite a lot, like in the realm of food and travel. Yeah, I had all these creative outlets because I felt like I wasn't tapping into them. So, yeah, when Feta came along, that was 8 years ago, and we originally grew as an agency. Around 4 years into the business, I actually paused and considered, well, hang on a second. Like, what does success actually mean for me? Because I don't know. It sounds so obvious, but I don't think I ever paused to consider what success meant for me. And I was just growing this agency when that just didn't feel
Mhm.
aligned. I'm like, why am I not like content? Like, why does this feel off? So that's where we, really refined what we did to teaching. And here we are today. Yes.
Yes. Oh man, and so many little parts of that journey are like just so relatable for so many of us from like, having different passions to kind of splatting spaghetti on the wall to see like where do I want
Yeah.
to follow my creativity to, I went through that as well with like whenever I first started Feel Good Social and I kind of, everyone was teaching the agency model and like this is what you
Yep.
want to do to scale and
That's
stuff. And it
it. You
took
just
me a
hire more people,
while.
right?
Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah,
no, I don't think so, so like really just giving ourselves permission to find out whatever is gonna work
totally.
for us and also pivot when we need to pivot. Ugh, I love that so much.
100%. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of the psychology behind, like, crafting your messaging and finding those words that are right for you, you know what I mean? Like, what does your process look like when it comes to helping other people do that?
Yeah. Well, I would first of all say, like, when it comes to writing in a way that feels good, I think so often people jump straight to, oh, I got to find the right words. I've got to find the right language. Like, what should I say? How should I say it? When really, I think the first step is you've really got to be obsessed with two things beforehand. One, the audience that you're serving. You've got to be
Mhm.
obsessed with them. That's number one. Like so obsessed that you're just like, oh wow, like you think that way, you're probably going to feel this way if you look at this word. Like, and then you've got to be obsessed with the problem that you're actually solving for this person, this human, because at the end of the day, we are all in the business of problem solving. Okay, like all of us, or not, you like it or not, you're in the business of problem solving. You've got a solution to a problem that someone has. So unless you're really obsessed with the problem you're solving, how this is showing up in your audience's world, why they should be prioritizing it right now, and all of that, and really obsess also with the audience that you're serving, it's actually going to be very hard for you to articulate the language and the words to communicate with them, to converse with them, because ultimately that is what writing copy, writing content is all about. It's really continuing a lot of that conversation that is already in that person's mind, or they're worried about their thinking but not saying. So, you know, the first big part of the process is to get geeky and to get all up in someone's brain, in someone's mind, in understanding why they think the way they do, and why do they buy certain things and why they don't buy. And one of the things that I love to do, and something I harp on with my students and my members, is, you know, really excavating the language that your audience are using to describe their pain point. Like they might not say, I need to find a copywriter if you're a copywriter. They might be like, I feel so stuck with the words that I'm using for my business, or I feel stuck with trying to communicate what I'm trying to say. Like, so really think about like the language that they use, or they might be like, I feel like I will write something and then I'll just like backspace. I feel like I'm scatterbrained every single time I want to write about my business. I feel stuck when I write about my business. So, like, really consider the language that your audience is using. And a really simple way, one of my favorite, most practical ways is to, you know, ask more questions with your audience and really consider how they respond to it. So, for example, if someone, and getting curious with it too, I might say, Kinsey's, because when
Mhm.
someone is like, this is out of my budget, as an example, a lot of the time businesses will look at that and be like, oh no, I need to change my price. I need to discount. I need to like slash this off to 1 cent. No, like that's not the case. Like when someone says this is out of my budget, chances are you might not have, look, you might be outside of their budget. That's one, 100%. You might just be outside of the budget for some people. But sometimes it could also be the fact that you haven't actually communicated the value of your offer. And as a result, they don't prioritize it because they don't see it as a need. They see it as a want. You're selling the vitamin as opposed to selling the painkiller.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, the little nuances of that I find so fascinating. But I would say, as a practical tip to any of your listeners, like just be obsessed with the conversations your audience are having and be obsessed with the problem that you're solving.
Yeah. Well, you know what just popped up for me too? It's so funny. It's like the little nuances. Like, okay, I literally was just filling out someone's survey, that people send out start of the year surveys for customers and stuff. And
Yeah.
one of the questions was like, what would be holding you back from investing in this offer or something? And she had like a few different canned responses, and then of course the other response where you can type in what you want and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the canned responses was like, I can't afford this, or like, blah blah blah. And I was like, it's kind of that, but it's more like, is this investment worth it for me over all of the other priorities that I have?
Right.
Like, so that's what I typed into the box. I was like, it's not that like, is this worth it for me, or is that, can I
Yeah.
afford it? It's like, is this a higher priority than everything else that I need to invest in this year, right?
Absolutely. And I think we need to be so careful with, I'm all for these questionnaires, all for these insight surveys, but the way in which you frame the question, you could
Mhm.
literally be adding bias to it immediately just by how you're framing the question, how you're shaping the question. I mean, one suggestion I would have is not even do it as a multiple choice. Like, why
Mhm.
do it as a multiple choice? Like, just let your audience tell you
Mhm.
in words why they're not committing, and I would also say, aside from cost, literally, why not? Like, because cost is such a subjective thing. Like, that should
Mhm.
not be, if you stand by your product and you know this is of value and this price feels good, price should not be the thing you even like test. Like, it's validated, people have paid for it, it's a value, people have told you about it. It should be aside from costs. Like, why didn't you join us? Why? Because price
Yeah.
is so subjective.
Yeah, and often exactly, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, well, and she didn't even say how much the price was in the survey or whatever. So I was
Mm.
like, well, I don't really know, but like, it's more, it doesn't even matter the cost. It's like, is it worth it for like my
Yeah.
goals and stuff? But
Yes, it's gonna
you
help me
know
go
something
there.
you
Yeah.
kn you know something else that popped up for me recently too is like, lately I've been doing a lot of live workshops or like live co-working sessions and stuff. I'll host live workshops for Authentic AI, or I'll do like this get it done week for one of my courses after the fact, like when after the doors close and stuff. And that I found has been an awesome way to really communicate with my people, like
Yes.
in that natural
In live
way.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like paying attention to like the questions they're asking, or like the wins that they're seeing, and like specifically how they describe what's
Oh, I love
exciting for
that.
them or what's hard for them?
Yeah, there's nothing better than to actually have like a just like a live conversation with your audience. Like, I remember doing like even little like one-on-ones in our membership where we just connected and talked, and just the natural flow of conversation. Someone will say something, and you're like, "Oh, what do you mean by that? Can you tell me more about what you mean by this?" You can dig a
Yes.
bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me more is always a
Yeah, tell me
great
more.
follow-up question. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I know we were chatting a little bit before we hit record and stuff about like kind of sometimes what is stopping people from adding personality to their brand or showing up for their brand in a way that's like not necessarily generic and stuff like that. Like
Mm.
there, I know with like, the how crazy AI is getting in the online space, especially. I've heard this from so many people. People are like, content like sucks lately. And this was one of my big worries with AI too, is like, is it gonna
Oh, me
make the
too.
internet faker than it
Yeah.
already is? So like, what are your thoughts on this? I guess. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I think it was yesterday that I saw that there's like a $500 billion boost in AI in
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, crazy. What feels crazy actually. So with AI and with feeling same and feeling like I don't even know what to say anymore and feeling like you're in the flood of just sameness,
Mhm.
I think as a result of that, like I just want to quickly say I love AI. I know you love AI too. Like I think it has streamlined and has the ability to streamline and better like what we already do in like faster, more efficiently, right?
Mhm.
However, I think because of the overuse almost of AI and the reliance and overdependence of I worry that our content and our marketing and what we say is literally just like same times 10, like the words like elevate, skyrocket, emojis, like it's all the same. Like I can literally, like you can tell of the over reliance, truly outsource out there when really, or whatever platform you use is really a tool to help you you got to take the thinking to then use AI to then create the things. Like you've got to inject your thinking into it. That's the thing that sets you apart. Why are you literally relying on a robot that's like trawling through the internet to get you all the things? Like why are you trying to go to an AI bot to outsource your thinking and tell me all the things that's going to make it unique? It's not going to tell you things that are going to be unique because it's literally trawling through the interwebs to find all the existing things that are out there. So I think, that is what I think is a bit dangerous for businesses when they literally rely on AI for all of their ideas, for all of their strategy, for all of like the ways in which they can be different. So, and I've said this previously, but more so even now, like ChatGPT is only as good, or AI is only as good as what you put as the input. Like the output is only as good as the input. You give it a
Mhm.
crappy input, it's going to give you a crappy output. I think there's that, like the over reliance on AI for insight and perspective. And I think this year, like more so this year, as ironic as it sounds, we are using more AI, we are using more of this, but we are also craving more individualism,
Mhm.
like the unique nuances of a person, the unique nuances of a brand. Like because of so much of this, like we're craving that human touch that is so not like we can't automate that. It's the most non-robotic thing. It is the most manual thing ever. We're craving that. I'm craving that, where you get to have conversations like this. You get to sit down and actually talk to someone and not be on your phone. Like, I think we're craving more of the individualism in a person and in a brand. And I think that is a missed opportunity for you as a business if you're not showing up as just what feels good to you. And I know that's something we feel so aligned with. You can see you and I, like, hello, feel good social. But it's like you've got to feel, instead of showing up as this person that you're supposed to show up as and what you see someone else in your industry is doing, like just embrace all of the unique nuances of you. Like for me, that was such a massive exhale. Like when I was like, you know what, I'm just going to be that weirdo like online because that is me. You either
Mhm.
like it or you don't. But like the full like HD version of you, please, which
Mhm.
is very hard to, like, when you lean on ChatGPT, it's not going to be able to spit that out. So
Mhm.
yeah, those are my thoughts. Like over reliance on AI, the dangers of that, and also how I just think that more than ever we are embracing individualism and the unique nuances of people, and we want to see
Yeah.
more of that.
Oh, I know, we are so like guys, this you need to go listen to Anita's podcast as well, because I feel like you're
Kinsey's
just
going to be
gonna get
there.
the yeah, the down under, version of Kinsey, down there,
Yeah,
but,
literally,
like,
sister from another mister.
seriously, I love it. But for sure, and I agree totally. I will talk about this on your podcast, but I talk about using a human first approach to AI tools where you're
Yeah.
bringing your ideas to the tools and allowing it to help you expand, clarify, organize, all that stuff. But it really does like start with you. And now more than ever, like you are going to be the superpower for your brand. And
Yeah.
like actually, it might become a little easier to stand out online with so many people using
I
AI
agree.
just in a
Yeah.
generic way, right? So for the people who are like, okay, Anita, I hear you. I'm supposed to show up online as like myself, my dorky, weird self, which I do too. That's part of my actually feel good social brand story is how I like used to think I needed to be like all the big names online. And then I
Aw.
finally leaned into who I was. I'm like,
Yes.
this is
Yeah,
so much
massive exhale.
nicer, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, for the people who are like, I hear you, but like, firstly, I don't think there's anything really unique about me, or like, how do I find my weirdo ness? And then also, like, who might be a little afraid to show up in that way
Mm.
because it can be kind of scary and
Yep.
vulnerable to like finally like lean into showing up as who you are, like, what do you say to those people?
A few things I think that I use, and I'm just gonna say, like, there's times when I'm scared too. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, and sometimes I overthink, sometimes I second guess, so it happens to all of us, I feel. I think an analogy I like to use is like, let's just say you're in a car and you're driving to your destination. Maybe that destination is you want to create impact, you want to, reach your ideal audience, whatever it is. Okay. But what happens is you've got this gremlin that is in the car that is trying to change the GPS in your car, being like, yeah, 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 that's great, Kinsey, that you want to go there and you want to like reach your ideal audience. But I think we go this way. Maybe we go this way because it looks a lot safer. Like I don't know if you
Mhm.
want to go that way. I don't know if you should go this way. And look, the gremlin's there to protect you and to be nice to you and to make sure you don't get hurt, right? And
Mhm.
this gremlin could be a perfection gremlin. It could be an imposter gremlin. It could be a gremlin that is just like, oh, but what will your mother-in-law think? What will your sister-in-law it could
Mhm.
be, it could show it in a number of different ways. You could have like 10 gremlins in the car, okay? Trying to change the GPS, which sounds very chaotic. But you know, this is where you get to choose. Are you going to let the gremlin change your GPS to another way, like another route? Or are you going to be like, cool, 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 gremlin? Know you're there. Know you're trying to keep me safe, but I'm just going to put you in the child seat at the back and we're still going to go here, Like, just even that analogy for me, well, it makes it a little bit more fun, but that's exactly what happens, right? Like the gremlins, sorry, like they're not going to go away. You're going to be scared. You're going to feel wobbly. You're going to feel different things sometimes when you're speaking about a particular topic. Should I talk about this? Like, is this too controversial? Like, there's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of different things. And I think it's important for you to come back to, well, like, obviously the message you want to share and what you stand for and all of that. But then you need to choose, like, are you going to let the gremlin take the wheel or are you going to drive? So I think that's one thing that I feel like has helped me a lot. Like every time I'm about to speak, every time I'm about to post something that I'm like, do people care? I'll still do that thing and come back to, like what feels good for me. I think that's one. I think the other thing is at the end of the day, like we are all communicating and connecting to other humans. And I think there's one thing I admire and I adore so much. And when one of my members tell me that they're scared of putting themselves out there, and I'm like, mention and share that. Share the vulnerability in you feeling a bit wobbly. Like, I think people will, one, you're not trying to be someone like anyone different. And I think the fact that you show up, even if it's a story, even if it's a post, it's just like, okay, this feels scary, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to introduce myself. This is me and this is what you can expect by following my account or by following my newsletter or whatever. But like just simple uh acceptance but also embrace of the fact that hey, this feels a little bit scary, but I'm sharing it with you because I stand for this and I really want to share more about X. Like I think that in and of itself not only allows for you to feel that exhale, but I think it builds connection with your audience to be like, oh, wow, that's so relatable. That's awesome. The fact that she's showing up even though she feels XYZ. So I think the sheer concept of just like sharing with your audience how uncomfortable and scary it may be for you, I think will actually also help you build that connection with them. Yeah, that's probably the second thing I would say to our members. Like, literally, just okay, we'll tell them that it feels scary. It probably will give you that bit of exhale.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, just, like, not feeling like you have to try to be someone
Mm,
or try to show up in some way is, like, so nice to, like, give yourself permission to, "I just am. Here I am,
mm,
and, like, this is me, and, like, I promise you'll find your people." And actually, that was one of the realizations I had too when I, like, made that shift of, "I don't have to try to be anyone. This is me, and I'm just showing up, guys."
yep.
And then it attracted the people who actually like to work with me versus the
Yeah.
people who then made me feel uncomfortable or made me feel like I had to keep like showing up in some way or something, you know? So like it all kind of made sense for me when I started doing that too. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's only win-win for you to just show up full HD as yourself. I think, we often forget that, with the digital online space, like previous to all of that, like that's how people became connected and were friends. Like you just literally showed up. There was no facade. There was no mask. There was no digital trying to keep up with this digital presence or keeping up with the Joneses. There was never this. And social media, although great, in a way created that, where we
Mhm.
now have to feel like in order to be important, in order to have a successful business, I need to have a private jet. In order to have a successful business, I need to make seven figures or eight figures. I need to like, like all of that, which is all like so who says like you can have a successful business without any of that. Like, I mean, if you're to tell me you have to have a seven-figure business, but then you have to work 50-hour weeks, I'm like, F no. Like, no, thank you. That's not
Mhm.
success. So important to
Mm.
remember that. Important to remember.
Ugh, I love that so much. Oh my gosh. How has it already been like half an hour? I always get to this
I'm
point in the
sad. Yes.
conversation. I know I'm like, what? But that's okay. We'll come back on. We'll geek out about more word stuff another time as well. But Anita, can you please share with us like all of your awesome, amazing resources? Tell us where like people can connect with you because I know they'll want to do that for sure.
Oh, thanks, Kinsey. Well, come and be friends with me. So, me personally, find me on Instagram, Anita Siek, ANITASIEK. Definitely follow what we do over at Wordfetti. So, that's all things words and psychology. That's Wordfetti. So, like word and confetti, but like without the con. And we have an incredible freebie that I know so many people have loved literally for years that they're like, you should technically charge for it, but we don't charge. It's free. It's wordfettigroup.com/freebie. And it is 5 lessons, we call it. Every day we drop into your inbox with a very simple 5 to 10 minute copywriting lesson to help you like increase conversions. And it's all around psychology and words. And we talk about website copy, social media copy, blogs, ads, just a 5 minute, 5, 10 minute read every day. That's all to help you write better, faster, and convert more.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna go snag that after this interview, but thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming on here. This was such a fun conversation.